Before we start the podcast, a big shout out to our sponsors and partners, Gym Pro Apparel. They're making waves in the health and fitness industry at the moment. They've got some great gym wear for men and women, so be sure to check them out in the link below. Right, let's get cracking with the episode. Dhian, welcome to Below the Belt podcast, and to Kuljit, welcome to Below the Belt podcast. So this is a bit of an interesting one, getting to interview my nephew and obviously my cousin as well. But yeah, let's go straight to Dhian. Tell me about what's your first memories of karting? Because I think you first started when you were 3 years old, right?
So I went, my dad bought a cart, chucked in some big red van.
And you were 3 years old, right?
Yeah, him and my granddad brought us there to an airfield. Snow, rain, whatever. And just drove round and round and round.
Yeah.
My dad had to lie to me and say, "Oh, the petrol's run out. You can't go," because I just kept on going.
Okay.
We'd go for like 3 hours. So how he started, remember when he's little, always cars,
Yeah.
or dinosaurs.
But at 3 years old, was that initially instigated by yourself, and why? Or did he just get the in? Because I know you've always been into cars and whatnot, right? But
So Jaslyn, I took her karting, because we bought her the crazy kart, remember at the unit?
so Jaslyn and his sister, yeah.
His older sister. We took her karting at Wilton Mill, and the arm was too short, but you have to be 6. He pulled a chair, and he used to have a tantrum, but he said, "Look, I'm tall enough." But he stood on a chair. Everyone found it funny. And then I found the indoor karting place, took him to Stourbridge, went to an indoor karting there, and he loved it. He goes, "Oh, I love it, but it's so slow." And it was just really boring.
How old was he at that point?
Just three and a bit.
Being able to actually navigate a go-kart at 3 years old,
But he's riding
even that's phenomenal.
But he's riding a push bike then as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Without stablers.
He must have had the knack for picking those things up very quickly. But I think that's a bit of good parenting there, because you're the type of parent where if they fall, you'll just get them to keep doing it until they, like the no fear
Well,
type
you say
of approach,
good, some
right?
people say lazy.
Yeah, but I think it's a no fear type of approach.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, carry on. We had it hard when we grew up, so I can't make it too easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's right. So then randomly, a friend of mine's friend at Coventry Motorfest introduced me to Max Marshall, who owns the airfield bunting for us. So he said, "Look, get yourself go-karts and you can use our track." So me and Dad went down to Exeter, picked up 2 random go-karts, didn't know anything about it. Took him to the airfield. Jaslyn got bored. We took them both. Jaslyn went a few times. She got bored. She didn't want to do it again. And literally, we get there 8 o'clock in the morning every Sunday, and we leave there about 12, and he'd be on the track full, spinning all the time.
Is that just Dhian on his own, practicing?
On his own, going round and round and round and round. And everyone said to me, "Why taking him in winter? Why take him when it's like you sleep?"
Yeah.
There's a video of when my brother was there from Italy, and the rain's coming sideways, and he's just going round and round and round. He didn't care. And I said, "Look, if we're going to do it, it's going to take a lot of time. I want to make sure he wants to do it."
So Dhian, that's pretty amazing at that age. So you're going out in all those cold mornings when a lot of people wouldn't even want to be getting out of bed. So what are your first memories of go-karting, and why did you enjoy it so much straight away?
So I've been doing go-karting for not too long. My dad took me to the first race. I was getting lapped. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
So my dad said, "Do you want to go home?"
Yeah.
He had to fix the axle with a brick.
Oh, really?
He just said, "Come on, let's go home." And I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Not even Ayrton Senna won every one of his races."
Yeah, that's a very good way of looking at it, right? Because I think it's very easy for kids to get discouraged when I think that's the biggest thing for kids, is to understand how to overcome those losses. It's not always going to be plain sailing,
It was
right?
a bit, so I was at my depth. It's more for me than him. So we pulled up, Dad had an old Sprinter van. So we pulled off I can fix cars.
Because there's a lot of mechanics that go into it on your side of it, right? In terms of getting Dhian's cart ready and in a condition where you're able to compete with other drivers who have big budgets behind them.
It was so in the first race we turned up in a Sprinter van, and then I saw. So I'm just there. Me, D had a little toolbox. I've got all the tools at work, but I thought, what do I need? It's a go-kart. It's not that complicated, is it? but I didn't realise how complex it was with tyre pressures, like with the so underpowered. His engine wasn't tuned or anything. I just bought a second-hand go-kart, £1,500, chucked it down, off you go, and he was miles off. And everyone else is intense. They've got awnings, they're massive motorhomes, they've got mechanics, they've got walkie-talkies talking to each other.
So there's a lot of money in this.
A lot of money. And I just went, oh my God, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And then we were shocking. Like the first Saturday, we were shocking. I just said to him end of the day, I said, look, so I just knock on the head. We'll do some more practicing and come back. And then I was ready to go home. Had to change the axle with a brake, but I didn't have the tools and stuff. It was just
So it's really
horrendous.
Dhian giving you the encouragement as well.
Gave me the encouragement. Then we drove home that night, came back in the next day. It's just nice and local. And I'm on the way home, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't swear, but I was like, I'm supposed to be motivating him.
Yeah.
I've got my little child motivating me when I'm supposed to be motivating him.
I think that's the amazing thing about kids, though, because unless they're actually put in a box, kids don't set limitations on themselves. No. Rightly so. It's only as you get older that people start getting put into box. Oh, don't do that. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. Yeah. But Dhian, you probably think you're capable of going as far as possible in this sport, right? But so tell me a bit about, obviously you started when you were 3 years old. You continued to practice, showing up week after week after week, practicing on the cold mornings and the winter mornings. Then you started racing competitively, right? And obviously, like you said, you saw the type of people that you were competing against. What's your first memory of racing competitively? How did you find that?
It was hard. There was some people on their fourth best engine. There's some people. Many people buying lots of engines. We on some. It wasn't a great engine, but some people have really, really stupidly good engines. A little 1/10 of a second is a difference. Some now in the British Championship, a difference between first and last.
Oh, really? Like a tenth of a second.
A few tenths.
So it is really those fine margins, right, which can either be the driving, the mechanic side of it. So there's pressure on both of you, right?
Yeah,
so
the good thing about Dhian was, so we did the first so the following year, when we went in the van, I joined the team, RCE, and it was a bit random how I joined. I was going to go with someone else, but they messed us around, and I apologised to Dave. I said, look, really sorry, you're my insurance policy, and I feel really bad because I'm quite I like people to be straight with me. I'm quite straight with them. I said, look, this is the situation. He goes, don't worry, come in.
Yeah.
And we went with the team, and it was expensive, and I thought, but then I spoke to my brother afterwards, Baljet, and I said, he goes, how was it? I said, what was your stress like? I said, stress was gone. He told me what to do. He told me how to do a track. He told me when I got
takes a bit of pressure off you.
Took a lot of pressure off me, and then I enjoyed it a bit more. Dhian was last, but he was he was last, but he was at the back of the line, not last like in a different race.
Yeah.
He was in the race, but at the back. And then he said, I sat down and I thought, right, we ain't got the budget to do, and I didn't want to take him out of school Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the races. So I said, spoke to the 2 championships, said, right, we're going to do early Saturday and Sunday. We're not going to do the Friday practice because it's our first year. We're not going to be winning anything. We just want to I want to do all the championships, I want to do all the rounds and see how we get on. And we did that. Got the top rookie in that year.
Oh, wow.
And then I went, right, over winter, we smashed it. Like the engine guy said, I said, right, how many hours do you need on the engine? He said, get this many hours on the engine. Dhian would do that in a week and a half. I'd go back up to Mexler, near Rotherham.
When you say hours in the engine, do you mean working on the engine or into...
So they build the engine, put it on the go-kart, and then we need to get X amount of hours. And then the power goes, starts off rubbish, gets better.
Okay.
And then when it gets fast,
it starts dropping.
It starts dropping.
Okay, so you want to hit it.
So we want to get
peak,
that
right?
peak.
Yeah.
So we managed to do that over winter. And when we came back over winter, he was one of the fastest.
Oh, wow.
And then in Bambino, weren't you? And then what happened? Second
my
round.
second fast race, I won most of the races. Second fast in the final. I got crashed out, and then I went from 1st to 7th in a crash. And then I drove back up to about 6th, and then
And let's put this into a bit of perspective as well, because Dhian, how old are you now?
10.
So you're 10 years old now. He started obviously roughly when he's about 3 years old. How fast do some of these karts go?
So at the minute, I'm going 60 to 65.
60 to 65 miles an hour?
Yeah.
That is dangerously quick for someone of that age, right? Does that not scare you? Are you excited by it? What type of feelings does that give you?
It don't really faze me.
Doesn't faze you?
Don't really come up in my mind.
Yeah.
What happened when you flipped the go-kart?
Yeah, because I remember you had a little crash at one. And how old was he at this point?
No, he flipped it this year as well.
Oh, was that this year?
Oh, yeah, he had a big crash when he was a bambino,
Yeah.
then we stopped karting,
For a little bit.
And how old was he then?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then we stopped it, COVID happened,
Yeah.
and then
Got back in.
slowly chipping away at mum over COVID, and then we got back in.
Oh, wow.
And then he flipped it at Super 1, and I wasn't there. So it's quite funny. One of the team guys sent a text message, which, because I was working, I didn't see it. He said, Dee's flipped his car. And that's all the message said.
Yeah.
Thank God, Dave, the team manager, he phoned and said, Dee's had some sport. And I went, right, just quickly analysed. He's quite calm. Dee's okay. What's the other kid like? Any drama? Because obviously if Dee's had sport, no, everything's fine. He's just in the back of an ambulance at the moment. I said, oh, why? He goes, oh, no, he's okay. The car flipped over. And then the next session, he came out and he did the fastest laps.
Oh, wow.
Like, it wasn't phased.
That takes a lot of bravery, especially at that age. How does your mum feel about you karting and doing those type of speeds, especially when you've had accidents? I bet she gets pretty worried, right?
The only reason why I'm still karting is because I'm that high at school. If I was here, I'd be in the gutter.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
if his grade drops, his karting stops.
Okay.
But yeah, his mum has a lot of anxiety. Even now, watching the old video, like that clip, remember you came to the Oplay
Yeah.
where he got crashed out in the final.
Yeah.
His overtakes and stuff, and some of the moves, some of the moves that
I'll risk you.
D does,
No one will do it. No one can't. No one can do it.
it shouldn't be physically possible.
Yeah.
Like he kept it floored in the middle of the track,
Yeah.
and he managed to get pulled round. But the problem is, he's either going to make it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not.
They're high risk moves, aren't they? But
He-
they're brave moves as well at the same
He's
time.
either
which
going to
other people
make it
won't
or
make.
not. So I think this
I like that approach.
not this year.
Isn't that the type of racing that people want to watch though? Like for the neutral.
The commentators, they love it.
Yeah, I was going to say no wonder they love it because that's the type of racing you want to watch,
Yeah.
like a daring driver, and that's what Dhian is, right?
But to win a championship, I don't need to be the most craziest driver ever.
Yeah.
I just need to be. I don't need to be fast every race. I'd like to be, but I'm not going to be. If I come third every single race, the whole championship, I'd win the championship. I just need to come top 10 every single race.
Okay, so it's about being tactical and being sensible at the right times as well, right?
Yeah, consistent.
This year. So last year, D finished. So basically, end of last year, he got lapped at Sunderland. And then I spoke to D at PFI. I said, right, D, to do the British, it's stupidly expensive. Do UKC is second most expensive. They're the two best championships. Do we do BKC and Super 1 or do you do UKC and British? And we're sitting in a bus, in the bus, and he goes, I want to do the British and UKC. I said, right, now we're not messing about. Now you're going to have to treat it like a job. Fun's over. We'll still have fun when we're practicing, but when we're practicing for racing now, no more messing about. This is what you need to do. No running around during the day. Afterwards you can mess around, but we're here to do a job.
Yeah.
Come into the bus. He's got a little ritual that he goes through. Sit in the car, do that. When we're testing as if we're racing. And I said, you're going to be out every weekend. You're going to have to do exercise. So he started doing gymnastics, started swimming, started doing football. And so from, say, October, being the worst kid in the British Championship grid, which it don't sound like a lot, but when you go to the World Final, Britain dominates. So
So it's a very high standard.
highest standard in the world.
Wow.
Fast forward to March to the O plate. Dhian dominated. You came to that race, didn't you remember?
Yeah.
Dhian, pretty much. He was fantastic. He made a little mistake, and more experienced kid at the front, Josh Cook. Love him or hate him, he's very, very smart.
He's a good driver.
He's
very good driver.
He's world champion now.
Yeah. Oh wow.
He
Dhian's up against some like
he
talented
overtook
lads,
D on the last but 3 corners. D had one more chance to get in front, but then another kid crashed him out.
Okay.
And then when he went in, and D, what did you say to the stewards when they crashed you out?
It's not. It's a one-off race. I don't want to. I've got nothing to lose.
Okay.
He don't need a penalty.
So he stopped the other kid getting a penalty and stuff. Said, "Look, don't worry about it."
It's really
don't
good
matter."
sportsmanship from somebody so young. Yeah. No,
In a
that's
championship, it'd
admirable.
be different.
Championship. Have a penalty.
I can imagine. You just mentioned something there. Dhian does his little ritual first. Dhian, tell me about your ritual. Is there something that you do every time before you have a race?
Prayers, vahegurus.
Yeah.
The rest of the bits is a secret. It's the secret.
Ah, okay. So are you not able to share it then? Come on, not even a little bit.
No.
Not even me.
No.
That's good though.
Maybe after.
I like that he's got that ritual and doing the Bart and whatnot. That's really
Yeah, he does
good.
it on the grid. So if you see him on the grid, he always puts his vase down, does his vase.
That's good. That's good. So, tell me that. How many times a week, month, roughly, is Dhian out racing and practicing? Because this is something that has consumed both of your lives now, right? It's being taken
we went to
very seriously.
one wedding this year.
Yeah.
We've been to 1 or 2 birthday parties.
Yeah. So you're having to sacrifice a hell of a
Massively.
lot, right?
I haven't. How many times have we seen you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen you for months, have we?
Yeah,
So we see you weekly, didn't we?
Mm.
So put it in context. Warden Law last race was September. We had 2 weekends off. Then we went to Cumbria, and then they had a birthday the next day. Then I went to Exeter on a Saturday. Then went to Lincoln, Scotland, Lincoln, Scotland, Scotland. Been to Warden, Sunderland. So we're going to the tracks where we're going to race at. So and then the bus broke. So literally we've had complete weekends off. We've had 3 since September, since he's been back at school.
Yeah, because I know it's so hard to... It was even hard to pin you down for a podcast, right? Because I know there were so many weekends where it was like races.
So tomorrow morning, because we're doing the podcast, we're getting up at 5:30 to go to a track tomorrow.
Oh, wow. And is that to practice?
Practice. Then from there, we're going to be going to
Daventry. Nice and local this weekend.
So how do you keep yourself motivated then, Dhian? Because you've been doing this, obviously, since you were 3 years old. How do you keep yourself motivated to keep doing this week after week?
I have motivation to win the British UKC, O-Plate, whatnot, some more. And then
That's the British Championships, right?
if I win that, best in Britain, that'll be one of the hardest things. The next World Championships, and that'll be even harder.
Yeah.
Best people in the world, best drivers in the world.
Yeah.
Then after that, 5 years from now, I'll be trying to get into Formula 4. I'll try. I'm definitely going to need some sponsorship.
Yeah.
Then try getting Formula 2 or Formula 3, and then Formula 1.
Wow. So Formula 1 is the
The
pinnacle,
yeah.
right? But it's crazy. Like, Dhian's got it mapped out, right? It feels like in his head he knows, okay, I've got to do this first, I've got to do that, then I've got to do that, then that. Then he knows the path, what it takes to get to that ultimate goal, right? Which I think often a lot of people, they have goals, but they're not often sure what they need to do to get there. So for me, that's a big step already, that he already knows what it takes to get there. And sometimes you can check yourself, right? Okay, am I training as hard as I need to? Am I doing what I need to get these goals? So I'm sure if you're out every weekend, you can't really be doing much more. But so that's your main motivation, Formula 1.
Can always do more.
Yeah, even better mindset. He's got a wise head on young shoulders, right? Which I guess...
But he sees other children as well. So someone's taken out of school, they've got private school, they've got tutors, some kids parents can afford it.
You always need a backup plan. If you don't get into F1, I'll use my studies.
Yeah, I think studies should always be like a foundation. You'll need it in some, even in form when you get to
It's just the bricks for the house.
exactly. Even when you get to Formula One, you'll still need an education there. But one thing I'd say is if you've got a goal, put everything into it. Sometimes it's good to just not have a backup plan because then you always have that one eye on. But education, yeah, that's always something you want as a fundamental thing there. Just keep that eye on Formula One. I'm sure you'll get there.
And the reason we're doing so much testing is financial as well.
Yeah.
So his peers are racing up. So next year we're going to be racing at certain tracks, but we don't do the race weekends. We're just doing the test weekends because the race weekend's going to cost £1,000 if on a budget.
Just while you mentioned that, sorry to interrupt, just about the ground. I know motorsport, even at the age that Dhian's at, is such a demanding sport, especially financially. How are you actually navigating those challenges when it comes to the financial side? Because I know just taking Dhian out to race on one weekend can cost you thousands of pounds, right? So just give me a little idea, and the viewers a bit of an idea in terms of how much it's actually costing you to keep Dhian racing every weekend and the cost it's going to take to get Dhian where he needs to be.
So last year, obviously, we had a GoFundMe page and got some sponsorship. So that was fantastic. Family, friends donated and stuff. So that got us through last year. But
Sponsors?
for the and sponsors.
RSA Furs, Racing Lines,
Also, you had a few sponsors as well helping you along the journey.
Yeah. And then we have so for I've got a bit annoyed this year for the British rounds. So it cost us an extra £2,000 to do the British round. So I had to drop another race
Okay.
just on
budget. Yeah.
on budget, because what they did was we had to buy practice slicks, race slicks, and race wets. Last year we had to buy race slicks. We can carry the wets over, and we could use old tyres for practicing. But then this year they forced everyone to buy extra 2 tyres. So our entry before we even left home, each British round was £895.
Oh wow! Just for entry.
Just for entry, that's tyres, everything.
Okay.
But then we got the team costs, and then we got our costs. Then we got food. We got to get there, fuel, and 3 days day off work.
To summarise, then let's say annually, how much roughly?
I don't work out.
That it'll be thousands, though, right?
Thousands, yeah.
Thousands.
So now on a weekend, I'm probably spending about £300
Yeah.
at the moment off season. British round, you're looking about 3.5.
Wow.
And we're doing it on. I'll do it a little bit cheaper because I'll do a favour for these.
And you're running it on a pure tight budget and not getting the best of the best.
No,
in
we
terms
get
of equipment.
equipment and stuff. Like we're on second-hand carts, but our team guy Dave, he's engineered by. He's an engineer and he does things scientifically, so he saves us a lot of money. Whereas
Big teams.
our peers are putting new go-karts down every month. These got one second-hand cart and one new cart from last year, and we're going to use them for this year as well.
Okay.
Then on the engine side, Jordan, he looks after us. He's got quite a few fast engines. So I did a deal with Jordan. I pay him monthly at the start of the year, and he gave me a good deal. But on the flip side, because Dhian does so much testing, I'm putting time on all his engines. So Dhian's competitor is going to get an engine that Dhian's made fast.
Okay.
But it's catch-22.
Yeah.
Either I pay full price and not do that, or I'll try to help people out, try to do deals, use rebates, and just always, everyone that I see, my lad does this, do you want to sponsor him? You know, everyone.
Mum's getting embarrassed.
Yeah, but I guess it's like I said, motorsport. I think everyone knows it's hella expensive, right? And how critical is it though for you guys to have sponsorship? Can you get to where you need to without sponsorship?
No
or?
chance.
Not
No
at all.
chance.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So sponsorship is basically critical for you guys.
I think the main, at the moment, next year we need to get sponsors up, and I need to raise about 30.
50 grand plus.
No, 30.
We'd like 50.
Yeah, but
It'd be-
30 minimum.
Yeah.
I want to raise next year, which should be doable. But to get into Formula 4, we're talking million.
So that's when, as he gets older, the costs will increase.
But
right?
basically, I think I was with Jack from the Cray Twins last year, 2 years ago, and we chatted to someone, and the guy turned around and went, "Oh my God, every Punjabi, every Apna should know him. You need to get him out there. Everyone should know him. Once you've got the following, the money will come.
Will come.
Because even if everyone at our wedding just gave us a tenner a month,
Yeah.
sorted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like but
But
people don't realise, and
I don't think people do realise how much money is going in.
they think it's a hobby.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a life.
I think people just see a go-kart and don't think of the costs that come behind it. Obviously, you go-karting on the weekend with your mates in a local go-kart track. You pay, 50, 60 quid for the day or however much it is. They're probably thinking of that when they're thinking of the cost when it comes to Dhian karting, right? But this is essentially thousands and thousands you're having to plug into it, right? But no, I'm sure... Hopefully, off the back of this podcast, people will watch it. And I think, if anything, this is a true underdog story, I think, with regards to what Dhian's trying to do. And obviously, the goal is Formula One. And if people want to be involved in that journey, now is the time to get involved, right? Now is when what's really going to propel him to go on and do really amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But... one of the other key things that we probably need to talk about is Dhian obviously being a turban-wearing Sikh, obviously coming from a diverse background. How has that been, kind of competing in motorsport? Because I'm sure there's not... I don't know, is it a diverse sport or is it not?
Probably count on one hand. Sukmani Kira, Ayan, they're both in junior Miami.
Banja.
JS, Prakash.
There's a small handful.
There's a handful. Yeah. But many times we've been day ones. But yeah, it was... Well, you know me from being younger. And my natural instinct and what I've been doing now is a massive conflict. And I think it came to a head this year and I went, enough's enough. But yeah, I'm getting emotional now. But because you're here. Yeah. I've never got emotional before.
It's good though.
But you're my little brother, so I'm the big brother. I'm the tough one. You're the little one. Yeah. But like when we went to our first go-karting thing, it was about 4.5, maybe 5. Yeah. So this is just a practice thing. Yeah. I went up there just with the team, just to see, just to practice. He came up to me and went, "Daddy," can't swear on the podcast, can I? What's
if you want
P word?
Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah, pack cunt.
Oh wow!
And
I wasn't expecting you to just say that because I didn't know that's what it was.
And I just saw red.
Hold on, say that again. Someone called Dhian what?
No. He came up to me and said, "What's this week? What's this mean, Dad?"
Yeah.
I went, got a hammer. Yeah. And I just walked. And this is our first meeting with a lot of people. So who said it? And I shouted, I said, "D, who said it?"
Yeah.
And all right, mate, what's up, mate? All right, mate. Yeah. And D said, "Someone from around here." I said, "Did anyone sweat my son?" No, not us. I was like, okay. I just looked around and I went, right. I came back and I was shaking. And it messed up my whole day. And but I was like, some people say, "Oh, you don't need to smile." They just call us the corner shop team because I've got the old bus. People got motorhomes and stuff. But I have to do what I have to do to get him there. But the worst one was for me as a dad was PFI club race. Dhian's gone off with his friends. I'm packing up. We were staying at home that night. We had the little van. I was getting all the stuff ready. He come back crying by himself. His friends weren't there. He goes, "Oh, such and such hit me." So me and Dave went to look, like, what's going on? And this lad's like up to here.
13, I was about 8.
Yeah, 8, yeah. And then Dee said to me,
2 13-year-olds.
When I asked him what happened, I think because Dave was there, he didn't tell us the truth. And he said, "We're playing football, we're doing this, we're doing that." And I said, "Right, unfair. Okay, you get beaten up. But if you're playing football with older kids and they play rough, I've told you not to play. We come to race. You've got a risk of breaking ankles and stuff. They play very, very rough, like a normal you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And the little kids get bounced around. So you don't play with older kids because if you do something and they hit you,
Get injured for the racing, yeah.
if they hit you, they hit you
they hit
because
you,
you're all. If you're play fighting with them and you get hurt, you get hurt. But Dee said, I said this, I said that. And I went, well, okay. So I said to Dave, right, let's go. Nothing's going to be achieved. So I drove home. On the way home, I thought, actually, he said some other kid was there. So Dhian's fallen asleep in the van. I phoned up a bloke and said, what happened? He pretended it didn't have signal. He sent me a text back. His lad said the two older boys hit D. One told the other one to hit D. I went, right, that's different. Now I'm fuming. So I've got home and I said to D, I said, right, Dhian. And Sandeep came. I said, Sonny, don't say anything. Just let me talk. Don't say anything. I said, Dhian, you're not in trouble. Tell me the truth. And he got separated from friends. He ran back to get his coat. And then he said they grabbed him, pushed him. And then one of the boys said, punch him. And they punched him. And I said, what do you do? Because it's different. Because we always do martial arts. We always used to fight from young age. So we cover up, we do this. Dhian never has. And then the boy hit him. And Dhian goes off race and fell on the floor. And then they're dragging me and pushing me and stuff. And I went, right.
Kids can be, they're fucking evil, like
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, and he's a nasty family from up north. So I was like, right, first instinct, right, let's get this sorted. So I'm going to put his dad in hospital. He's a massive geezer. Don't matter. You know? We'll go down and sort it. I phone my brother and he goes, right, think about it. What do you want? You do anything. No matter what you do, you're going to be the bad one.
It's hard though, because sometimes
You're going to be the bad one.
Someone's doing something to your kid and undeservedly, emotions come into play, right? That's your kid, that's your life, and someone's treating them in a certain way, physically trying to impose themselves.
So we did it officially.
Yeah.
And they got statements and
Through officials and
through the official Motorsport UK investigated. The disgusting thing was the little lad who was a witness
He lied.
said he lied and said nothing happened.
I've been on the receiving end of racing myself, and the one thing you'll find is witnesses never want to get involved. If they don't need to get involved, they won't get involved.
Yeah, so he said no, nothing happened. So the two older boys lied. But the worst one was the little fucker's dad phoned another race organiser. I said, oh, do you know that a girl that identifies as a boy? The guy went, no. Who? He said, Races for RC. He said, no, that's little Dhian. He's a boy that identifies as a boy. He goes, oh, yeah, my lads were like messing about and they tried to take his trousers off to see if he's a boy or a girl. I've never said that in front of D. That's what, don't say his name, but that's what the little shit did. And, and they still, but because they lied, nothing happened. But in the morning, I said, this is his resilience and stuff, and which I can't. We went through a lot of stuff when we were younger and stuff, but we always used to just fight. We get beaten up, but we fight. But then his resilience, I said to him in the morning, I said, do you want to go back? We can have a weekend off. He goes, no, Dad, let me go back. And then when we got to the track, he goes to me, Dad, put me in his race. I want to put him in the wall.
Fair play. Respect for that.
But
it's good. You're facing it head on. You're not running the other way, which is good. And sometimes, like whether you know martial arts or don't, that takes bravery in itself. Because I can remember the first time I experienced racism. I think I was 8-9 years old. In a football match, someone called me Packy. I started crying. So you handled it a hell of a lot better than I did, Dhian. So, and that's brave to then go back and face it. But if those kids are watching this podcast and you mess with my nephew, you're getting it. But no, that's really good, Dhian. You should be proud of yourself for standing up to kids. It's really good.
But the thing is, he loves it.
Yeah.
And he loves it. And all I said to him, get your head down. Just try your best. Try your best. Go out there. I don't care what anyone else is doing. If you've done your best, that's fine. And slowly, it's starting to pay off. Like, he's one of the fastest kids this year.
Yeah, I think even the family, obviously I talk about you with like Amrit, my sister, and others in the family. I think that's the most rewarding thing. 'Cause it's like, it is a true underdog story watching Dhian from where he started. You guys are on such a restricted budget compared to the people you're up against. But we're slowly seeing Dhian kind of rise now. And then even when I go to watch him and you see him do the things he does on the tracks with the overtaking, the bravery, and you see him competing against these kids, which in many ways maybe he shouldn't even be doing with the hurdles he's had to overcome, right? But the one thing I like about Dhian is he'll see a hurdle and how some people will either be kind of take it as, oh no, I can't do it, because he sees it as an opportunity to face it and overcome it, right? Rather than see it as a reason not to do something, which is good.
What's the famous word that'll make you watch in the morning when you're little?
Power of yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do that yet. You won't be able to do that yet.
Yet. Okay. That's a very good mindset to have.
Someone ever says something, you can't do that, just say yeah.
It's so true, because you'll see that as you get older. And I think that's what happens to a lot of kids. People say, because they can't do something, they'll say, oh, you can't do that, or you can't, just because they think they can't do it, they'll put that onto you. So always remember, just because someone says they can't do something doesn't mean you can't do it yourself, right? Which is good. I like that.
But
can't
also,
do that yet.
But also it's for everyone.
Yeah, it should be for everyone.
I can't paint, but if I practice, eventually I won't become a Picasso. But I'll be able to do something that I'll be proud
100%.
of.
And the thing is, even if you do take that step of trying to do it, you might fail, but you'll learn something along the way. So it'll come out as a win either way, right? Yeah. So no, that's great. And just talking about setbacks, Dhian, what would you say is one of the best lessons you've learned since you've been racing?
Not everyone's one-faced. Most people who we've met, they've been two-faced.
Okay, that's do you know what? That's deep for a young kid to be to know that and think that. Yeah, it's very clever. So not to take things at face value in a way, because not everyone is one faced. You're right. People have their own agendas and whatnot. But very clever. I didn't expect that from a kid. So I'm just processing that myself. But no, that's good. Just looking into the future. Are there any particular racing series or racing teams that you dream of joining in the future?
In F1, when I'm going to be older, there's going to be half the teams are not going to be there. Half the teams, there's going to be 100 new teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, at the minute, I'm liking Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, I'll probably be a fan of Ferrari because Hamilton.
Because of Hamilton. And who is the driver that you look up to the most?
Hamilton.
And
next year, I've always looked up to Schumacher. But next year, because Hamilton's in Ferrari, he'll bump up a few steps.
Okay. And am I right in thinking that he bumped into a bit of a famous F1 driver while he was I think he was practicing the other weekend,
supporting his nephew. Russell.
Yeah. Who was that you met?
George Russell, so nice. He's very nice.
So tell people who George Russell is if they're not into motorsport.
George Russell's an F1 driver, raced for Mercedes. He's been racing for not too long in F1. He's a very, very good driver, and he's not like, oh, I'm him. I'm an F1 driver. He was like, oh, I'm ordinary. I'm a racer.
He's humble.
He's so humble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his dad was there as well. So his George Russell's nephew races in Dhian series.
Yeah.
He just started.
Yeah.
So they're at the track. So George Russell's dad was looking after him.
So did you have a chance to talk to George Russell?
You did a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, quite a little bit.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I bet you
lovely
never expected
family.
that.
Yeah, such a nice. It's strange because after dealing with a lot of people at the track, I didn't expect them to be that nice.
You didn't have high expectations.
Yeah.
But that just shows you sometimes staying true to your core values of being a good person can get you to the top. Like sometimes the people who are like you said, Dhian, two-faced, they get weeded out as time goes on, and only the people who have true values go far, like George Russell. So, but yeah,
there's hope.
There's hope. Yeah, exactly. You should use that as an inspiration, right? That he does come across like that. But I bet that was did you get his autograph?
Yeah, I got on my coat.
Oh, you
Can't
got it on
wash
your
the coat now.
Ah, nice.
And on his hat, didn't you?
And on the hat.
Right. Let's move on to a couple of other questions. Bit bit more to do outside of racing. What is your favourite thing to do outside of racing? You're down, which I know racing consumes you at the minute, but what else do you enjoy outside of racing?
YouTube.
To be fair, you're
Netflix.
quite active though. Like you said, you just gymnastics. Did you
I
gymnastics?
stopped doing gymnastics now.
Did you
Not
wrestling? Don't you? You were saying?
wrestling.
No, you still wrestling now?
Yeah,
or?
we got a competition.
Ah,
on
okay. Where do you
23rd.
wrestle?
Don't know the name of the team. I'll get that for you. Whenever I see you.
Very good response when you don't know something.
It's at the Goodwa, Crossroads Goodwa.
Oh, okay. Oh, brilliant. Do you enjoy that, the wrestling?
Yeah, we've got a competition 23rd September. I meant not September, December.
Ah, okay. Ah, good. Oh, so he's entering competitions in
Well, it's more for Sahaj.
yeah.
I
His
want to do
little
it because
brother.
I want to see about it.
That's good. How important is it, the physical aspect of Dhian's racing at this point? Because I know it is when you reach the top levels, but at this point, do you get physically tired while you're driving, or is it just more of a concentration thing? Do you need to be physically fit?
I think I'm very high on physical, but now it's just getting your mental mind there.
Yeah. Okay, having that mental discipline when you're
You
driving.
need to be strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strong.
Okay.
They're going
Is that-
60. They're going around the corners at like
Actually,
50,
yeah,
60
yeah,
mile an
yeah.
hour.
You have to
In the
brace
car,
yourself
in
and
the
stuff.
car, it's just you're pulling.
Yeah.
So it's not you're putting all the pressure. Pushing is a completely different aspect. And
So he's pushing the steering wheel,
Oh.
not pulling it. They're pushing it, so it's
so
got more
he's
feel.
Oh wow, really?
Pushing it up to turn.
Okay, so strength does come into play there. Okay.
And weight. His biggest
biggest
disadvantage was he's so light.
Hmm.
So when the cart jumps up, like at Wilton Mill, when they jump over the last corner, the bigger kids can control it straight away.
Okay.
Whereas Dhian has to let the cart settle, then carry on, and that split second
Makes a difference.
makes
could
a
have
huge
been-
difference.
Crazy
It could
how
have
many
been-
little intricacies there are. Yeah, go on, dear.
it could have been worth not hitting the curb,
Hmm.
but hitting the curb was probably faster.
Okay.
So Dhian has to hit it right
Hmm.
because he makes a little mistake. It costs.
Makes a difference.
Yeah.
That
Whereas-
split second.
Where the taller kids, the heavier kids can control it a lot easier. And
Yeah.
they're throwing the cart around. So
Okay.
I think Dhian's still got 7 kilos. Well, it'd probably come down to 5, but at the moment he's got 7 kilos on his cart, extra weight. Which
okay.
they all have to be 105 kilos
Yeah.
when they come in, driver, go-kart, everything.
All right, on to the next one then. If you could race against any driver, past or present, who would it be?
I'd like to do a race. So, Ricky Flint maybe.
Okay.
No, which
Lewis
driver?
Hamilton.
Which driver? Who would you like to?
Oh no, not Ricky Flint. That's a race team. It's the Flint caught my eye. Lewis Hamilton,
Yeah.
Schumacher, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen,
So there's quite a few. You want to take them all on, don't
You
you?
want to take over? What about old ones as well? What about your kids?
Ayrton Senna. No,
Yeah.
I said that. Alan Prost.
Don't know who he
I wanna
is.
beat
but-
him.
He's got a lot, so he's got a lot of knowledge then when it comes to Formula One
Not
race, past
really.
and present. Seems like you've got a lot more than me anyway.
Yeah, I think that's
Piastri maybe, and Charles Leclerc.
Blimey, he wants to take them all on. But no, that's good. That's good.
I would if I can.
Yeah, I know you would as well. So just coming to the end of the podcast. So obviously we're coming towards the end of the year. What are your goals for 2025? What do you want to achieve next year?
If we British UKC is what I'm gonna try do. Sponsorship, BNL, and possibly some rounds of European. One-off races, GP Grand Prix and Oplay Open. Then after that, World Championships.
Yeah.
Bahrain. It's in Bahrain this year. Last year it was in Italy. Wish I gone there. And then for next year, moving up into the next class, and it'll be we'll try when we move up, instead of being at the back, we're gonna try and move up to the front.
Okay. No, some good goals there, I think.
So he wants to win the British. He's going to try his best to win the British, try his best to win the UKC. Win the British, he gets a ticket to the World Final.
Win the
Okay,
UKC.
wow.
And then he wants to
Okay.
win. He wants to win the and then obviously get into the World Final, try his best, and
Le Mans. I'd want to win Le Mans.
yeah, he wants to go to Le Mans as well.
It's a lot of championships, a lot of medals up for grabs, and then I think we all know what the ultimate goal is. Then, as we discussed, right, Formula One.
Yeah.
That's good. No, I can't wait for that. I'm sure he can do it. Like I said, it's a true underdog story, I think. But I think like with anything and anyone, you don't get anywhere without any help, right? And I think sponsorship is going to be a critical thing for you guys. So for anybody that is watching and wants to get involved in Dhian's story and what he's doing at the moment, and obviously representing Sikhs across the world as well. Get in contact with Kuljit. Dhian's got a page on Instagram, Dhian Racing, so feel free to give them a message there as well. Any kind of sponsorship is greatly appreciated, and I think that's the best thing they can do, right, is to reach out to you guys and get involved in the journey, because now is the time where you need more of that support before you are really propelled onto that next level, right? So make sure you reach out, guys. But thank you for coming on the podcast, Dhian. Kuljit, I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and you bringing home some of those medals and trophies. So thanks for coming on the podcast, and thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.